All right, it's Monday. It's time for my Monday mortgage market update. I'm doing this for realtors, home buyers who are looking to purchase or refinance their home in 2024, as well as loan officers who are just wanting tips and tricks. Now, some Mondays, I'm going to show you the Monday morning video from MBS Highway and Barry Habib's team. They're phenomenal at what they do. If you're a loan officer, 100% you should invest in that platform for your career. If you're a realtor, you should be reaching out to the loan officers you're working with and asking them, hey, are you subscribed to MBS Highway? It's such a valuable tool. And I saw a lender on TikTok who is showing what that has to offer. I'd love to see if you're working with them, because then we can partner and then you can have co-branded material. So just, again, ways to add value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my morning routine on every day, but this one is for today's Monday market update. This is going to be Barry Habib's Monday, his morning update. I get these every morning, so that's another reason why it's really great, because it gives you kind of an outlook on what's going on. He does an in-depth dive on reporting that's coming out, and it's such a valuable tool. So I'm going to try to flip the camera and show you. And I'm also working on getting this to where I can stream it from my desktop, so I can figure out how to not do it with my camera and flip it and you're looking at a computer screen, because it's a little janky. But I can't wait to give this information until I have everything perfect. Otherwise, it might, who knows when it'll be. So let me just take care of that now. Let me first figure out how to switch this camera around. Let's see, blink, flip camera. So you can see my screen, my morning update. Let's go.
Although mortgage backs gold, yeah, about to see it shine. Just won't go, man. Break it down, just won't go, man. Yeah, about to see it glow, just won't go, man. Yeah, won't go, man. Yeah, won't go, man. Yeah, about to see it shine, just won't go, man. Break it down, just won't go, man. Yeah, about to see it glow, just won't go, man. Good morning, everyone. Mortgage bonds are a little bit golden this morning. They're up about 16 basis points. 10-year Treasury's down 6. Those are good things. On a technical side, since there's no news, we're going to focus a little bit on that. Technical indicators, as you know, really, really important. And one of the things that occurs once in a while is something called a golden cross. And that is where the 50-day moving average moves above the 200-day moving average. And we did see that last week. We were there. We confirmed it last week, actually. And we were there most of the week. Now, although prices didn't really improve, actually prices went down, this is a longer-term indicator that tends to be pretty good news. And when you take a look correspondingly at the 10-year yield, you want the 50-day moving average to cross under the 200. Now, the name for that when it crosses under, it's not a golden cross, it's called the death cross. But in this case, that's what we want. We want yields to come down. So let's take a quick look at the charts. Again, that's kind of the focus right now. And of course, this week we're going to get a lot of inflation news that could influence things. But you'll see that we're up 13 basis points on mortgage-backed securities, and we're down 6 basis points on the 10-year. That's good. I want to show you a quick look here as we take a look first at mortgage-backed securities. This is the golden cross here, where you see the 50-day moving up above the 200-day. It usually portends some good news, but when you see where we have been, it's mostly been sideways. Yes, last week we did lose a couple of basis points here. I wouldn't really be too concerned with this. We've got to get back above, and I'll bring it back to 25-day moving average. That's going to point to the next level or ceiling of resistance. Now, the stochastics, and let's zoom in just a little bit here. The stochastics are gearing up for a positive stochastic crossover. So, another little golden area here where we can see that crossover. These are very, very good indicators. The last time we got one, we got a positive stochastic crossover, nice big rally. Negative stochastic crossover, and you can see prices have faltered a little bit. So these are very good indicators. So I'm liking the technical picture. Let's take a look at the 10-year, because I do want to point out something here. You can see how the 50-day moving average is kind of moving lower, maybe gets underneath. We think it's going to get underneath the 200. That's a death cross. That's what you want. And I want to just show you how the 10-year also moves with these indicators. Let's take a look at the last time that we saw here I'm going to again, try and remove some of these other indicators. You can see here, let's zoom in. The last time that we got a golden cross on the 10-year. Now, obviously, we don't want the golden cross on the 10-year because that means prices will go higher. You get the golden cross here, and kind of similarly, prices didn't initially improve. They actually got a little bit, or yields in this case, got a little bit lower. But then you can see longer term, the influence of that golden cross, it tends to be something very good. So in the opposite direction for the 10-year, we get the 10-year to break, and we think it will, underneath the 200-day moving average. Well, in that particular case, that should portend some good things going forward. For yields means lower yields, higher prices, so some optimism looking forward. But Dan, first we got to get through some of this news.
Yeah, we do, Barry, and it's a very important news week, and it's going to be highlighted by Friday's PCE, or Personal Consumption Expenditure Report, which is the Fed's favorite measure of inflation. Now, the headline all-in inflation number is expected to remain on a year-over-year basis, somewhere around 2.6, or maybe even increase a little bit to 2.7, but the focal point will be the core, the Fed's favorite measure there, which strips out food and energy, and the market's expecting that to decline further from 3.2% to 3%. So if that happens, or maybe it comes in a little under that, that could be some golden news for mortgage-backed securities as well as yields. Now, other items this week, Thursday, we're going to be getting the first reading on Q4 GDP. We'll also get new home sales. That's a 10 a.m. report, so expect a later update there. And we are going to be interviewing and having a call with Mike Fratantoni, the chief economist for the MBA, for his outlook for rates and housing in 2024. And then also remember on Friday, pending home sales. That's another 10 a.m. report. So Thursday and Friday, later updates. And with that, we are going to begin the day here floating.
All right, so you can see why that is such a valuable tool to invest in your business if you're a loan officer. And again, I've showed videos throughout my, if you go back on my timeline, you'll see where I show some of the cool tools that you can use for your realtor partners. You can co-brand things. They have Presentation Expressway. They've got marketing collateral. They've got real estate report cards, buy versus rent analysis, just so much value. But this is so important because if you're a person that's in the market to look to buy or refinance or sell this year, there's some amazing things that are coming on that are on the horizon that's really going to transform the market and be huge. And let me first start off with some basic data. So I'm going to take this off this little stand because it's kicking my butt when I'm trying to show my screen, even though it's kind of janky. But I will get better at this. Just keep paying attention. I like to master stuff. So thank you for those who joined. I'm here to add value, just doing a quick update, but let me just show you why this market is going to be intense, especially as rates rebound. Fed has talked about maybe 6 rate cuts, but let me show you what's happening the first quarter of this year, but some backstory on the overall market and why it's going to be nuts. Okay, so what we're seeing here is the U.S. births by year in millions. So when people try to compare 2007 and 8 to what's happening right now, the average age of a first-time home buyer is 33 years old. So when you're talking about housing formations, it's about when someone's entering the market at about 33 years old. And that's going to be important on the next slide, but look at this. In 1973, there was a huge drop in births. And in this generation itself, only 55 million compared to 76 million in the baby boomer and 66 million in the millennials and 61 million in post-millennials. But keep these 2 data points in mind. So 33 million people born in 1973. 33-year-old in 1973 plus a decline in population. Fast forward to 33 years from there is you're starting to get into the 2007 and 8 period of time. And that's why there was that huge drop, because they'd overbuilt for the market. There was 4 million homes available compared to the actual demand when you consider the birthing rate drops. 33 years old born in 1990, they're 33 in 2023. So now that's why we're going to have a huge demand. Look at the difference in the amount of births. But then let me show you this other one. So when you look at this is the key on this one. So this right here shows you the appreciation rates of homes since 1942 in the United States. The red indicates either a negative, or on that 1991, it was not fully, it was like negative point and some change. So it wasn't a full point. So we marked red. You can see 2007 through 2011. When we go over here, completions are when new homes are built. Completions were outpacing formations, that 33-year-old metric. Look at 2005, formations were here, but completions were here. So of course 2007 and 8, but even still, completions were still outpacing formations. And we had that decline 2007 through 11. This is why I like to deal with data and facts instead of emotions and feelings. And so then you start to see home prices rising in 2012. Well, it started to level out. But this is the concern. Since 2012, it started to level, but look at here. Now we start peaking ahead of formations. People entering the age to buy a home is outpacing completions. But then it starts to get drastic. This had dropped a little bit. We know why. Then bam, 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 bam. So you have all this every year cumulative inventory that is completely not keeping up with demand. And then we're wondering why prices keep going up. And if you look at what home prices did in 2010, 2020, 2021, 2022, and this year the pace was 7%. This is going to get worse. And so when people are like, oh, I'm waiting for housing prices to go down, they're literally setting themselves up for failure. And why we know what's coming is going to be huge is this is what's over the next quarter. We have CPI reports and PPI reports that are going to come out that's going to be replacing the data from the month and year before. So like when January's comes out, you see over here, I keep this on my desk, CPI and PPI. When February's report comes out, that's replacing January's numbers. You can see the date, February 16th. It replaces the January 2023 with January 24. Then March 14th replaces February 2023 with 2024. And April 11th replaces March's 2023 numbers with 2024. And if you look at this scale, you can see that we were up over 6% in the beginning of the year. January, February, March. We won't see until we get down into the 4s again, which we're under. We're at 3 and almost at 2.7 on PCE. So that means all of this old data that was over 4% is going to be gone, cutting inflation statistics drastically. And that's why there's going to be a surge in home prices and home shopping throughout the summer. And again, just to show you this, the PPI and CPI dates so that you can save this. And I'll send it out too. And CPI. The PCE comes out on the 26th. But this is so important. We have to make sure that we're preparing our clients and our realtor partners for what's coming. Because for every 1 point drop in rate brings about 3 to 4 million buyers back to the market. And that increases demand and prices 3 to 5%, depending on your area. And so that's why you're going to see a lot of people like, oh, realtors, you want to buy now? And there's memes saying they're ignoring the economy or ignoring the crazy stuff that's going on. It's not that realtors are ignoring it. It's more that realtors understand that in these times is when the most amount of wealth can be generated quickly. And so your home, if you're paying rent, you're paying a mortgage. It's just not your own. And so we want to get people in homes that can start building their current and long-term generational wealth and not overextending themselves. A lot of times in the past, people would overbuy, they'd be stressed out and then hate being in a property and then, sell, but then be happy when they got all their profit. But right now, what I've seen and what I think is encouraging is people buying what they can comfortably afford and understand they're building an empire. Because like, say you're a single person who just graduated high school a couple years ago and you have a decent job. Well, instead of renting an apartment, how about buy a condo with an equivalent payment? So at least you're building wealth through principal balance reduction and appreciation, so that in a year, 2, when things change in your world, you can then rent that property out. Because if you've been in it 12 months, you get a 12-month lease agreement in place. It will offset the payment from calculating your debt to income ratio by at least 75%. And I can walk you through that. Loan officers all across the country can walk you through it. Don't feel pressured or obligated to use me. Love to earn your business, but there's other people out there, plenty of business to go around. This live is there to help realtors, lenders, and home buyers understand what's coming. So if you are a home buyer, you want to buy a home this year, a home investor, this is the time to do it, because there's still seller credits, there's still seller concessions, there's still media who are talking about, oh yeah, home buying has declined to the lowest it's been in decades, which is true. People waited to buy, but that didn't mean prices changed because inventory is so low. And of course, in our capitalistic society, supply and demand is a driver of price. And there has been an intentional supply constraint because of this. And we can see it when you have people that are like BlackRock and all these huge hedge fund companies buying up residential property, they understand what's happening. And some economists have predicted by 2030 that those people will own up to 30% of all residential homes in the United States, which is terrifying. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope legislation comes in place where it limits, corporations from buying single family residences. And what I mean by that is 1 to 4 unit properties. If you want to buy commercial, go ahead, buy commercial. But 1 to 4 units, I think that they are not great for this environment. Obviously, as a homeowner, I love my prices continuing to jump through the roof. But for sustainability, it's kind of a pet peeve. And so it's just my thoughts. And again, market is doing phenomenal. We've rebounded today, but the key focus is, how do I make sure that I'm taking care of my clients in a way that is prudent and suitable for their current and long-term financial goals? My clients, if they're not working with a financial advisor, I typically connect them with the financial advisors that I know, like, and trust, that I go to breakfast with every Thursday to make sure they're set up for success. And I'll be continuing to interview them on my channel throughout the year, because I want to really bring value to my content. So Monday Market Updates, I'll be in the future working with bringing people on so that they can share their insights. But seriously, if you're a loan officer out here, go subscribe to MBS Highway. Barry Habib is elite. He is famous. He's well respected in this industry, and his analysis is spot on. 10 out of 10 recommend that. There's nothing that will pay you more on a back end kind of thing than MBS Highway. Obviously, having a CRM is really important too, but MBS Highway gives you marketing collateral, gives you daily tips that you can use to then make your realtor calls, your lender calls. And as a buyer, that's why relationship is so important. My key and focus is not a transaction, it is relationship. Because sometimes my clients get a deal with a builder's lender that I can't touch. Right now, I'm actually helping one of my clients with a builder's lender they're getting $40,000 in incentives. And if they don't use the builder's lender, they don't get that, which partly I don't understand how that isn't some violation. If I give something of worth to a realtor, I'm in trouble. But a builder can pretty much condition them and force them into, even though it's their choice, but how is it their choice if it's $40,000 or $0? Make it make sense. I digress. Again, because I'm not about the transaction, it's about the relationship. I'm helping them get the deal closed with that lender so that they understand that, again, I value them and the relationship over that one singular transaction. And so if you want to work with a lender partner that has your client's best interest in mind and not just my paycheck or their paycheck, reach out to me. I'd love to work with you. I'm here in Texas. I close loans all over the state. But if you're in a different state, let me know and I can connect you with a fantastic loan officer in your area. Cross Country Mortgage is amazing. I've worked at several different companies across my 10 years in this business, and I've worked with some great companies, but there's just something special about Cross Country I really like, and they go above and beyond adding products that really help us take care of our clients. We have a down payment assistance program that's not income capped. It's huge, awesome. But also community promise and one-time close loans and a whole huge assortment of investor products, thousands of products. And as a loan officer, that's huge because you want to make sure you're serving your realtors. But also as a realtor, if you're looking to partner with a lender, get with a lender that has programs like Cross Country. We have access to everything and it's amazing. And that's the key, because if you need, and also we have this really cool marketing platform. So if you're a loan officer looking to potentially move this year, reach out. Courtney Vest is our recruiting manager for the division. And I highly 10 out of 10 recommend coming to Cross Country if you're a loan officer. I don't plan on moving from this company ever. And so this is where I'm here to stay. And I feel like they support me. They put the tools in place to make sure that I'm set up for success. So loan officers, subscribe to MBS Highway. If you're looking to make a move in the next year, maybe more, get the game plan started. Reach out to me. I can connect you with Courtney so that you guys can get that moving. But I hope you all have a great Monday. Here's a tip. Make your calls today when you're calling a realtor. Bring up what you just watched on MBS Highway. Hey, I just watched Barry Habib's morning update, and he was talking about the inflation data coming down and rates rebounding over this first quarter. Want to touch base with you. If it's a buyer that's been on the fence, where do rates need to be in order for you to make a buying decision? And if it's a seller, hey, the market's heating up. I just want to make sure that we're on track for listing your home X date. Let's put together a market analysis now to where we can make sure that we're listing at the right time to maximize your return, but also setting you up for success when you need to buy your next property so that you can achieve your goals. Let's get you connected with my lender. Boom. Or your lender that you use to purchase your home. And that's the key. Get your clients back to their original loan officer, because it sucks when you find out a client closes with somebody else. And you guys have all experienced it too. But the first thing is have them try their original loan officer. If their original loan officer, unless they had a bad experience, then obviously keep moving. But if they had a good experience, remind them to go back, because there's going to be tons and tons of crappy marketing collateral that's sent out. And it's all data mining companies that spent money to buy information from the credit bureaus on who and the counties, who owns a property, who has a mortgage balance left. And then they'll just blanket market them with teaser rate information that barely skates by on compliance. And they can make it look like their servicer. And that's the part that's really treacherous. And I don't know how they're allowed to do that. I had a client last year show me a document that looked almost exactly like our company stuff, but then on the very bottom, it's like not affiliated with your lending company. And I called them and read them for filth, but it's just part of this business. I hope you all have a fantastic Monday. If you're a home buyer, reach out. Let's get you a game plan. If you're looking to sell, reach out, but let's get in touch with your realtor so that they can put together a market analysis, show you what you will net from the sale of your home, so you can start putting together a financial plan. If you're not working with a financial advisor, reach out. I can connect you, but let's make sure you're building your long-term generational wealth instead of someone else's. Have a great Monday. Talk to you soon.